Hey there, Coach Brandon here again. Today, I want to go over with you guys, I'm going to break down one of my training sessions from last September, so almost a year ago now. In this training session, I'm only doing positional training from the half guard position, from the bottom half guard. So there should be a lot of good things for you to pick up from this video, and you should understand quite a bit about what's going on. So here I am walking out. Now, in this video, I'm training with my good friend and training partner, Kelly Johnson. He is, I've known him for years. He is another black belt from up at the Brooklyn Center Academy. So this is me training with another black belt from bottom half guard. So I'm going to start allowing Kelly a crossface and an underhook. So he is actually in kind of the dominant position. These are good passing grips for Kelly. Kelly can use a good crossface to keep my head and shoulders stapled to the mat while he works to free his right leg. And let me tell you, Kelly has a nasty crossface. Okay, so it looks like I took a scoop grip on Kelly's right leg. My right arm is underneath his leg. I have a good scoop grip. The problem with this scoop grip now is I have no way to defend Kelly's crossface. So you can see Kelly is now putting on good crossface pressure. The mark of a good crossface is the fact that Kelly is putting his body weight and particularly his shoulder right over his hand. So watch, Kelly has his hand up here near my armpit, gripping onto my armpit. He has the back of his hand on the mat, and he wants to bring his shoulder directly over his hand to maximize the pressure on my jaw and forcing me to look away. So watch how Kelly's going to start to move across my body right there, and he brings his shoulder over my hand, over his own hand, just like so. So this is a good, nasty crossface. This, by the way, is what your crossfaces should look like from the top position. When you're in the top position, whether it's half guard, side control, or mount, this is what you want your crossface to look like. Hand all the way to the armpit, shoulder directly over the hand, putting weight down, and using your head as a post on the far side so you can't be off balanced as easily in that direction. So Kelly has a great nasty crossface here. He's doing all the things he should be doing. Look at how I'm being forced to look completely to my left. I can't even look up to the ceiling. There's no way I can turn into Kelly at this point. So there I was able to turn into Kelly. Let's see what happened there. Okay, so I use an outside hook to hook over Kelly's leg so he can't easily step out. I have my heel connected to my shin. And I'm using my inside leg as a butterfly hook down at his ankle. And I'm going to use this to move his body weight back off to my right hand side to alleviate some of the shoulder pressure. So watch how when I use my feet to start forcing Kelly to move to my right, that's going to take his pressure off. So there I was able to alleviate the crossface pressure. So that's a small step toward victory for me. It's not everything, but I took one small step in the right direction. Remember, jiu-jitsu is a game of inches. Kelly puts the crossface back in. I bridge. And as I bridge, that's going to force him to loosen up his crossface and widen his right knee. With his right knee widened, I can bring in my right leg to the inside position or my right knee to the inside position as I've started to perform an elbow escape on Kelly's left leg. Now this is interesting. Kelly reached back far enough that I was able to hook my outside leg underneath his elbow. And I'm grabbing my own toes. So there's a closed circle around Kelly's arm. Kelly can't just pummel his arm up and over my foot because my hand is gripping my foot and closing that circle. Now, once I opened that circle, Kelly was able to pummel his hand free. Did you see that? Sorry. Okay, so here I have it gripped and Kelly can't free this arm. However, I don't know why I let it go. I guess I was trying to control the elbow here. I let go of my toes and I tried to grab the elbow. But in doing so, I allowed Kelly the space to pummel his arm free over my foot. So I lost that really good control that I had, unfortunately. That was probably a mistake on my part. I probably should have kept the toes and kept working from there, having that arm completely trapped. Now I'm crossing my feet here. So it looks like I'm building up to a knee lever. Okay, I'm trying to work a knee lever. The problem is Kelly's knee is off the mat. For a knee lever to be effective, your opponent's knee needs to be on the floor. So I'm going to try to step down and put the knee down to the floor just like I did there, now that the knee's down on the floor. I'm going to try to knee lever over to the side. Kelly was able to float his knee up off the mat just enough to widen the base with his right knee. You very closely watch Kelly's right knee. It picks up and it widens out. So I reset. Now I'm trying to pummel in a butterfly hook. So this is what we worked the last couple days in class, was converting a knee shield to a butterfly hook. Now I didn't have a knee shield, but that doesn't mean I can't pummel in a butterfly hook. So now I have both my feet in the inside position. If I can get Kelly's knee off the mat, I can get into an Ashigarami. There's the elevation. The knee is now well off the mat. Wonder how I did that. I'm going to pull my knees to my chest, and it looks like the act of pulling my knees to my chest is what's going to force Kelly's hips up and over me. So just like we worked in class the last couple days. Here I'm going to pull my knees to my chest, and here I have an Ashigarami. So Kelly has really, really good upper body positioning, really good upper body fighting. Kelly got into a really good cross face, used that great pressure. He had the underhook, so I was completely shut out at the upper body. When you're completely shut out at the upper body, go to the lower body. That is your best solution. I believe you're going to see me do that a number of times in this training session because Kelly's upper body grip fighting is so strong. So once again, I'm going to allow Kelly to start with cross-face underhook. Now I had a really good off balance there with a knee lever, but not enough to do anything. Let's see how that went. So here I cross my toes. I point my knees to the left-hand side. He's out of balance briefly. And now, oh, that was really good. Okay. So even though the knee lever didn't sweep him, didn't off balance him enough to get the underhook right away, Kelly is now becoming aware of his base on his right-hand side. So what happened is I knee lever, Kelly went, oh shoot, I'm off balance over there. I better put out a base of support on that side. So he puts out his hand on this side because he was like, oh, I don't want to get off balance in that direction again. But as he puts that hand up, now he gives me the space to start fighting in for an underhook. He quickly clamps down. Now in fighting for the underhook, I was able to create a ton of space, which allowed me to pummel in my left butterfly hook, and now I have double inside position again. I have a knee off the mat, so as long as I can clear this cross face, I can get back to an Ashigarami again. I pull my knees to my chest. And actually there I was even able to get the Ashigarami without clearing the cross face. He has the cross face. I just have the mobility and dexterity to get my foot into the hip even with him this close. So I get my Ashigarami in place first, then I strip the cross face. So I used a 2-on-1 grip there. So I have the Ashi in place. I use a 2-on-1 grip on the forearm, and I'm going to pull that cross face off. And now I have a good Ashigarami, and I can use it to either sweep and come up on top, or I can look to use it to attack the leg. Now it looks like I'm working my half guard, but I asked him to work it on the other side. So now I'm working it on my left-hand side. I have an elbow in the inside position. Interesting. Now here, we're going to study this topic next week. Kelly went to a variation of a reverse half guard, where rather than keeping his cross-face arm on this side of my head, he pummels it to the far side, either as a reverse cross-face, or he also has the option to punch it in underneath my far armpit as a reverse underhook. Here he chooses to go on the other side of my head and use a reverse crossface. What this does is it now stops me from moving my head to my right. So one thing I really like to do here, and I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, but I like to pummel in a right butterfly hook, and I like to control the knee with my left hand. Then I elevate. Let me see if I do it here. Now I'm going to try to use my grip down here at the knee and my right butterfly hook to elevate Kelly's hips up and over. And usually what I try to do is I try to take my left leg underneath of his knee. Now this is kind of an old video, you know, this is almost a year old. So I don't know if I'm going to use that. I see right now my left leg is far too high for that to work. I would need to bring my left leg down to the floor. So it looks like I take it into an Ashigarami. So rather than taking it to a back take, like I'm going to show you guys next week, here I take it to an Ashigarami. And now that I'm reviewing this, I very well may show you guys how to take it to an Ashigarami next week as well. So I pummel. Once again, I have my feet in the inside position. Now I just need his knees off the mat. I'm going to do that by pulling my knees to my chest. That's going to get him out of balance. So my knees are way out here right now. Watch my knees come close to my chest. My knees come in. That throws him out of balance. And I'm able to realign my body, and I'm back into an Ashigarami. And I was able to use it to sweep and come up on top. So once again, Kelly's doing such a good job of fighting at the upper body that I'm having to get all of my victories by going at the lower body. Kelly goes back to a reverse crossface. So I'm going to try the same strategy, I imagine. There's my butterfly hook. I just pummeled it in, so I have both feet in the inside position. I'm starting to elevate him. You see his hips starting to get light. I pull my knees to my chest. It gets him out of balance. And I go back into an Ashigarami. Once again, Kelly's good with the upper body, so I have to win the fight at the lower body. Now Kelly's gone back to a normal crossface, a standard crossface, rather than a reverse. I can see that I crossed my toes here, so I'm probably going to be trying to hit a knee lever. This time I cover the elbow well, so he has no base of support with his right hand. If I can keep his right knee on the mat, then I can get a sweep with the knee lever. But unfortunately, Kelly puts all of his weight on his head, and by putting all of his weight on his head, he's able to make his lower body light enough to pick his knee up off the mat and base out with his knee again. Okay, so a lot of good stuff going on. So show it again. Now, once again, I want all of Kelly's weight on his knee, so he can't move his knee. Kelly's going to transfer his body weight onto his head, so his upper body becomes heavy and his lower body becomes light. With his knee light, he can pick up his knee and widen it just enough to avoid going over. And he couples that with a head post right here. So this moving of the knee coupled with the head post saved Kelly from going over because of my knee lever. Now you can see Kelly's trying to pull this arm out. He doesn't like the fact that that arm is trapped. So even though an underhook is a good thing for Kelly to have, because I'm pinching it and threatening knee levers, this underhook is actually something of a liability to him because it's controlling his base. So watch how Kelly's going to start to try to pull this arm out. He doesn't like the fact that I have it trapped. But that gives me the underhook. Kelly pulls out his underhook. I put in my own underhook. Now I can start trying to work to my my half guard game. Now I'll be honest, right from here, if I wanted to hook sweep Kelly, I think I could have. He's down ear to ear. His head is lower than his hips, which is a key factor for hook sweeps. We're going to look at that when we get into the open guard chapter. But because the head is lower than the hips and I have my butterfly hook in, I likely could sweep him to this side if I control this hand. However, I shrimp out and I want to free my left butterfly hook because I'm just trying to work my half guard game. So I gave up what would have been a good sweep because I wanted to focus on and improve on a very certain area of my game, the half guard. So I forego the butterfly sweep and I go to a normal half guard. Here I punch in an outside hook. So I replace my inside hook with an outside hook. Here I brought my left arm down below his hips. So if you wanted to put in a whizzer, it wouldn't have any effect. Watch my right arm go down below the butt. Or I'm sorry, my left arm in this case. Below the butt, I'm coming up on a leg. And in response, Kelly back steps. So I can't turn up into him and come up into a single leg, right? What I want to do is I want to turn belly down, come up to my knees, and start attacking wrestling sweeps. So what Kelly's going to do to stop me from being able to turn up is he's going to backstep and force me back onto my back. Right now I'm up on my side. His backstep puts me on my back. So now I can't come up into him. Now what I normally like to do from here, I'll keep my right hand over here to control the hips. And I typically like to pummel my right butterfly hook in underneath of Kelly's knee. Now Kelly has freed his knee from between my legs. His knee is above, higher than my hip line. So I won't be able to get my butterfly hook to the knee. I'm going to have to settle for taking it down here at the ankle. And I see I haven't done that yet because I don't have control of the knee. I like to have one hand on the hip to control the hips. And I like for my right hand to control the knee. So I can push the knee away and try to force him to turn away from me and go onto his back. But right now there's a very strong grip fight going on between my right arm and Kelly's left arm. I have wrist control right now, but I can't get to the knee. So now, let's see. Now I should be able to grab the knee. Looks like I'm trying to frame instead. He must have a good crossface. So I'd like to grab the knee and push it away. However, once again, Kelly has a killer crossface, and his crossface is going to make it so even if I do get underneath the knee and I start to push him this way, I won't be able to turn into him because Kelly's forcing me to look over here to my right, over to this direction. So I'm trying to frame that head away to alleviate the crossface pressure. Now I've gotten the shoulder off my jaw, and because Kelly's lost shoulder position with the crossface, he's going to use his head in a tool that I call a cranial crossface, where Kelly uses his cranium as a crossface. So you see how he's using his forehead against my jaw to keep me looking away. And there's still a strong hand fight going on between my right arm and his left. A strong grip fight, I should say. I'm trying to get my grip, he's trying to get his grip, and we're both trying to deny each other the grips we want. See, Kelly's still making me look away with that cranial crossface. Here I try to bridge to off balance him, not good enough. Notice as I did this, I keep a strong inside hook, or outside hook in this case. I apologize. I keep a strong outside hook back heeling. If I were lazy with my right leg, Kelly would easily step his foot out and he'd pass my half guard. So you have to be very diligent in keeping a good hook, whether it be an inside hook or an outside hook. Okay, here I pummeled in my butterfly hook underneath his ankle so I can get some elevation. I didn't like it. Again, I like to have that butterfly hook down at the knee because it gives me a better control of the hips. Getting it underneath his ankle like this won't really do much to help me force him onto his left hip, which is the goal. I want to force that knee to turn away from me so I can force Kelly's left hip to the mat. Because I'm so far down here at the end of the lever, if I elevate this foot, the foot will go up, but it won't actually turn the hips. So I abandon that, and I'm going to keep trying to shrimp and get my right butterfly hook to the back of the knee. Now I took my hook out. That is dangerous. I don't know why I did that. I wonder if I'm going to get my guard passed. Oh, never mind. I took it out because I have a grip. So my right hand found a grip on his pants. So now that I have a grip on his pants, I can release my hook and I can begin to use my foot on the floor to drive. And he can't free this leg because I have a grip on the pants. So that's why I felt comfortable releasing my hook. Kelly didn't like the cards there. Kelly did not like that I can drive both my feet into the mat. And he didn't like that he couldn't free this leg. So he's going to step back over to a traditional half guard. And back to a reverse half guard. I'm sorry, a back step half guard. Here, okay, now this is where it's going to start to happen. This is what I'm trying to do now. I'm starting to shrimp out. I'm going to try to plant my feet on the floor and turn into Kelly. Kelly immediately tries to turn belly down to avoid being turned to his back. And as he does so, he widens his legs to widen his base. And because he widened his legs, I was able to easily get inside position. Now, once again, I'm going to get the knee off the mat. My knees pull to my chest to off balance them. My knees pull to my chest. My hips raise. That gets them out of balance, forces the knees off the mat. And once again, I end up in the Ashigarami. And that's going to be the end of the training session. So we saw the same thing happen over and over and over. And that Kelly did such a good job of keeping my upper body pinned with cross faces, reverse cross faces, and cranial cross faces that I had to always win the fight down at the lower body. Kelly did such a good job of controlling my head that I needed to go and win the battle at the legs. So I look to get inside position. I pull my knees to my chest to get him out of balance and get his knees off the mat. And once I have those prerequisites met, inside position and knee off the mat, I can turn into my Ashigarami. So I hope you guys enjoyed that lesson. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of it. Hopefully you got you thinking, got your mind working a little bit. And hopefully that effortful thought and thinking will lead to long-lasting memories that will help you improve your game and your skills on the mat. Take this newfound knowledge, work out it in training, and turn this knowledge into skill. Once the knowledge becomes skill, your grappling is going to improve. Thanks for watching, guys.